Alrighty, folks. Well, good evening. Hello, and thank you for joining us here at SpeedGaming for the continuation of our Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Mentor and Mentee Tournament. My name is Marion, and I'll be guiding you through today's event. With that being said, we do have the wonderful Op82 on our tracking team, making sure to keep note of all our hints, item location, key items, SDKs, red keys, you name it. We're gonna write it down just so we have some sort of notepad going throughout the entirety of today's race. With that being said, let's see what we have. Let's see what we have tonight. In the left side of your screen, we have the Marker's Mask with Lenophis as their mentor. And on the right side of your screen, we have Elias Thompson with BashPrime as their mentor. Now, countdown will be starting very shortly. So in the meantime, we're going to go over what this tournament style actually is. So for Echoes with the mentor and mentee style, over the course of the next few weeks, and I say we're in week 4, so over the course of the last three to 4 weeks, various members of the community have come together and have been helping teach less experienced or new members of the community. And with that being done, these mentees get to show off their skills, what they've learned from each different mentor. Maybe you picked up a new trick, maybe you're learning some out of bounds, you're figuring out Randomiza's logic chain, whatever it is. All the mentors are here to help teach and guide our mentees along. Where in the finals, it all comes down to each week, a mentor and a mentee will showcase their skills together in a live race shown here right on SpeedGaming. And this will all cultivate in the final week of the bracket stages to see which mentee and mentor will come out on top. Now, as far as runners agreements, we do have a surprise. We have no runners agreements, so that means we will be running on the old patcher of Randomania. Now, there is some slight differences between old and new patcher. For us here today, since we are on the old patcher, a couple of things will be happening. The biggest one is GFMC Compound will be in its first layer, not post layer. And because Compound is in its first layer, runners have the ability to just go right into Compound. They can cut through Dynamo Chamber without needing power bombs or bombs, and enter GFMC Compound by just scanning Open Trooper Security Station. This could play for an extremely early Compound loop. But we'll find out. It looks like Elias has a short 15-second delay on the race time, but that's okay. We'll always be starting off with Violet Translator in Great Temple next to Umos, and it appears we have a power bomb, followed by information that we have our first joke hint. Now that's extremely good to have, a joke hint immediately. We have one joke hint left. Each race will have 2 joke hints, with the others being useful or non-useful information. But once again, we are starting with Violet Translator. This allows runners to access the Transport to Aegon Waste elevator without needing to find Violet, and allows us to get Temple Grounds hints. But first things first, before we can do anything, we have to defeat Albert the Alpha Splinter, right here in the glorious Temple Sanctuary. And quick note for those watching at home, in the chat you'll see Op82 on our tracking team. They've posted a Google document. That document will take you to our current tracking information. So if you have any questions relating to item locations or anything of the sort, that document will have it. And speaking of having things, how about we get an energy tank right to start with? Now, we will definitely take an energy right before going to Dark Aether. Oh, and hey, how about we have 2 for the price of 1? But sadly, Marker's Mask can't grab that energy, as we don't have Space Jump or bombs to make that play. But if we ever take a save warp later in the run, we will definitely pick that E-Tank up. But for now, we have to leave it behind, sadly. So first things first, now that we've entered Temple Grounds, we're going to take a peek here at Temple Assembly Site. What's hiding here on the ledge today? Oh, it looks like, ooh, we got something shiny up there. It's not Light Beam. Light Beam would be a smaller icon. That could be a Grapple Beam, maybe a Gravity Boost. Whatever it is, it looks like Marker's Mask wants it. Now, can we get a better view at it? No, maybe we can see it better on Elias' side. Now I still can't determine. But here's the benefit of running on Old Patcher. Oh, hello, Inghive Key. So Inghive Key 1 has been located on Dynamo Chamber. So once again, as previously stated, we are on the Old Patcher of Randomania. So Dynamo Chamber, as you saw, the gates were lifted. We could just roll right through without needing bombs to progress. Or bombs or space jump. And thanks to us having power bombs, we were able to get Dynamo Chamber, and collectively, we can get Communication Area's item. Marker's Mask pulling off a great slope jump to get up here early. And this was extremely useful, as we have Screw Attack on Communications Area. That's an interesting place for that. Looks like doing the GFMC compound loop paid off. Now, Elias seems to be a little bit confused on where to go. And here's the second reason for Old Patcher. As you see, Trooper Security Station. It's currently in its first layer, where we can just scan the gate to open. We don't need to use power bombs or screw attack to destroy it. Oh, but Elias might be hunting for a power bomb, or they're just a little trying to progress through communications area to get the right jump that they need. So, on the with communications area, there's a small piece of standable collision you can use. We can use that on the satellite dish to just jump over to where the item is in comm area. On the flip side, on the left, you see Marker's Mask attempted to do what we call a slope jump. By jumping against a sloped piece of geometry, we gain a little bit of extra height and momentum. And great job by using a screw attack cancel for a little bit of added height. And oh, that's hilarious. We got a vanilla missile launcher. Missile launcher in compound's great. You don't see that too much. But Marker's Mask's doing what we call an item duplication. This way we have 10 missiles instead of the standard 5. So with item duplication, this can only be done in GFMC compound. Correct me if I'm wrong. But by doing the slope jump that Marker's Mask did, we bypassed the cutscene trigger for the Troopers Down cutscene. So we were able to get the crate early, then trigger the cutscene. And fun thing about that is when the cutscene is triggered for Troopers Down, there's a flag inside that cutscene that respawns the GFMC crate item. And if it's an expansion, if it's ammunition, or if it's a progressive item of any sort, we can duplicate it to get the next one in its chain, or just added ammo. And Elias is still moving back. Looks like they are not going towards GFMC compound. Oh, that's going to hurt them in the end, as we're going to bypass those missile launchers. Oh, and we got our first suit. Looks like we have a dark suit on Transport A access. Well, that's a good place to have it. We have a dark suit right before entering Aegon Waste. That's especially useful. This makes the Jump Guardian section a whole heck of a lot easier. Although granted, this dark suit is technically out of logic, as the Emerald Gate is raised in Temple Sanctuary, so we would need Emerald or Dark Visor Seekers to get it. But speaking of getting items, we have a beam-related upgrade in a Cursed Lake today. Those could be supers, but we're yet to find out. So it looks like Elias found a power bomb expansion, so that's good. That brings up to 4 power bombs total. And sadly, we did miss the violet hint, but we will get a second chance at it with Marker's Mask. Alright, so now it's time to put these missiles to good use on Marker's Mask, going for Storage Cavern B. Oh, and that's going to be a headache for Elias. That missile is technically in logic due to Old Patcher. Actually, probably not. No, we have Screw Attack, so absolutely, we could just break the gate down with that. But no, we need space jump for that to work. Yep, and we got our grapple beam here on Temple Assembly Site. And Morph Ball bombs and Storage Cavern B. Open great first try extended screw attack with Elias. So what Elias did, we did a regular jump, and then we used screw attack at the right distance, and we canceled it at just the right time to where we got a little bit of extra distance to make the jump. And thankfully, Power Bombs destroys this little sand block here in Mining Station Access. And unfortunately, due to no space jump, we can't technically access Compound. As even though we did get Compound, which is great for Marker's Mask, we don't have any way to get back. Oh, and hello, a major upgrade can be found in Communications area. Well, both runners already found that. And some may be wondering the logic change so far. Screw attack is technically logical. No, because we still need a way to get up on communications areas, so we would need bombs, which are locked behind missiles. And, well, we're going to have to find space jumps somewhere shortly. Or we could find Amber Translator hiding on portal access. Or no, it could be logical because of an old patcher. Yeah, screw attack is in logic. That's how we're supposed to get to Aegon in the first place. And that allows Elias to get Sand Cache immediately. And it looks like we've got Emerald Translator on Sand Cache. Oh, and Sustainable and Comm Area is beginner. Well, thank you, Camir. I appreciate the confirmation. So yes, we do have logical access into Sanctuary due to screw attack. And we got another Amber hint telling us that MSA has... What do we have here? A Morph Ball system and Storage Cavern B. Well, Elias knows that's locked behind missiles. Well, what Morph Ball system is that? Well, we know it's bombs, but... that's going to be a little tricky for Elias, as we're not going to be able to get Aegon Energy Controller immediately. And no, we can't get through GFMC's gate due to post layer of Trooper Security Station. And we are currently in portal access, or no, Mining Station X. No, that was Mining Station A for the large room, and then portal. Oh, I love Echo's room's names sometimes. And Bomb Guardian has been defeated, but it's only for a Dark Ammo expansion. But that Dark Ammo will come into use later on. But the good thing is we have Emerald immediately. Emerald will be great when we get to Torvus Bog, and allows us to get another Violet hint once we get back to GFMC. And due to the lack of logical missiles, no space jump, and no bombs, Elias unfortunately is unable to progress further here in Aegon, so they will need to go back to Temple Grounds and start doing some cleanup. On the other hand, due to Marker's Mask doing GFMC Compounds Loop first, they're able to progress, and we have 2 hints. Dark Aegon Temple location, and a progressive suit in Hive Chamber A. Okay, we know where Light Suit is. So we have 1 suit on Transport A access in Great Temple, and the other suit off of Dark Missile Trooper. With something shiny and rotating in Mining Plaza. That could be a missile expansion, or it could be something useful. But here we're going to see a neat little time skip here by Marker's Mask. By jumping down to the 3rd sand block, we're able to bypass the 2nd part of this puzzle. It saves a good about 10 seconds on fast pace, as the game will only check for the 3rd sand block being destroyed, not all 3. And because of that, we can do this puzzle without needing to access the second block at all. And now we are entering the Dark Aegon Wastes. Thankfully, due to Dark Suit, we won't have any trouble progressing forward. Meanwhile, Elias has re-entered Temple Grounds. They gotta do just a little bit of cleanup, but finding that suit hint off of Mining Plaza, we could be seeing an immediate Hive Chamber loop with HCA and B. So we know for a fact we'll get a suit, but we're not sure what we'll find on Hive Chamber B. And let's take a peek at Crossroad. What do we have? We have a missile expansion on Crossroad. And yes, we found Emerald off of Sand Cache. Oh, and that puts missiles into logic. You're absolutely right, chat. Because we have Emerald, logically, we're able to progress forward. That puts the entire loop back into proper logic chain. And smart move by Marcus Mask. It is always good to take a safety save. You never know when your game's going to crash or something else might happen. But everyone say hello to the Dark Missile Trooper, an optional boss that I'd like to say a good handful of people have probably never seen, as there's no incentive to come back to Hive Chamber A after doing it first pass. Unless you're trying to go for 100%. Oh, we've got another E-Tank hiding in Junction Site. Unfortunately, we can't get that. We don't have Spider Ball. So Marcus Mask will have to leave yet another E-Tank behind. Nope, and for some reason Elias is going back to Hive Chamber A. Well, alright, there we go. There's Dark Missile Trooper defeated, and now we have Light Suit. Which is strange. There must have been some sort of duplication glitch. We must have defeated Dark Missile Trooper twice to get that suit. Oh, that's a trick I'm not too familiar with. We'll have to ask about that later, come post interviews. But we've got a power bomb expansion, or a cheeseburger as we call it, hiding on Trial Tunnel. No, Wop. Elias never went to Great Temple for the other suit. At least not that I can recall. Alright, but here we see one of my personal favorite tricks. We call this Jump Guardian Skip. Over in Judgment Pit, where Marcus Mask currently is, you see Marcus Mask shooting a ball of air. Well, fun fact, that ball of air is actually Jump Guardian's hitbox. Upon first entry of Judgment Pit, Jump Guardian's hitbox will always be spawned in front of the statue where the cutscene normally plays to introduce the boss. Now we can skip the cutscene as we don't ever enter the center of the room for the safe zone. So because the cutscene never plays, if we have the ability to jump up to where the hitbox is, we can fire any sort of ammo at it, light beam, charge beam, missiles, regular power beam pellets, whatever it is, we can just fire it, and we can damage Jump Guardian's hitbox down to 1 hit point. Now, fun fact, we cannot destroy Jump Guardian, as the cutscene has to play for Jump Guardian to be defeated. But we can get down to 1 hit point, fire a couple of lemons at it, and serve Jump Guardian a nice cold serving of lemonade. Looks like Jump Guardian only had a missile expansion. Well, that's okay. We'll definitely have more expansions and ammunition early. And yes, it looks like we do have a confirmation that Elias somehow managed to duplicate Dark Missile Trooper. Unfortunately, that's not a trick I'm familiar with, so I can't explain it, but it will be a question brought up during post-game interviews. But on the good note, Elias has found their main morph ball bombs hiding off Storage Cavern A. This will allow them to progress further through Aegon Waste, and as such get the Jump Guardian loop and head for Aegon Energy. Now, yes, Aegon Energy is slightly out of the way, but it is an item, and it is an Amber Translator hint that we can have access to. So, the more knowledge, the better. Now that Marker's Mask has completed the Jump Guardian loop, their next play will to get some Aegon cleanup. They'll also be heading for Aegon Energy. And it appears we have a ball upgrade. This appears to be Spider Ball with the smaller icon. Yep, this is Spider Ball. No, that Spider Ball's not going to be useful for us right now. But that will come in handy later with Main Reactor. And especially great for Sanctuary cleanup. And if we do find Light Beam, this will allow us to get some Spider's Treasure play without having some headaches. Oh, and speaking of Light Beam, it appears Light Beam is hiding here on Mining Station A. Alright, so now that we have Light Beam in hand, this will allow us to get into Ventilation Area A, and due to power bombs, we can access what we call the Spider's Treasure loop. And Spider's Treasure in this context is a collection of 3 rooms, all next to each other, each having an item on it. And those 3 rooms are Hall of Combat Mastery, Culling Chamber, and Hazing Cliff. 3 items, 3 locations, and we have Light Beam to get them. And here you see Bomb Guardian, and there you don't see Bomb Guardian. For whatever reason, Bomb Guardian takes extensive damage due to power bombs, but only when Bomb Guardian is in an attack state. So what we'll do is we'll place a power bomb down right as Bomb Guardian charges us, and this will instantly vaporize the Bomb Guardian. And nice high five by both runners. Both are going to Aegon Energy at the same time. Will this be worth it? Let's find out. We have knowledge that Light Beam can be found in Aegon Waste. Well, seeing how Elias has not yet found that, but they probably saw it when they entered Mining Station A. That will come in handy. Unfortunately for Marker's Mask, they already have Light Beam, so no need to worry about that hint. Alright, so now due to bombs, Elias will be going right for the Jump Guardian loop. This in turn will allow them to get Spider Ball on the exit off a transport center, and in turn complete the loop to get Light Beam. Speaking of loop, we're going to loop right around Aegon Temple and head right into Sand Canyon. We can't get Sand Canyon quite yet. We don't have Space Jump to utilize Screw Attack to its full potential. So we'll bypass this location and move into Vent Area A. And what do we have hiding on top of this little sand puzzle here? What was on Junction Site? Junction Site was an energy tank. We had an E-tank on Junction Site today. And Jump Guardian had a missile. And in Cache 4 we're unable to check. With Broom Closet having, I believe, another expansion. And this is a smart play by Marker's Mask. Due to the lack of Space Jump, we really don't want to be diving into Aegon Labs. As with no Space Jump, it's not difficult. It is entirely possible. We could get Central Mining due to with a well-timed extended dash or a scan dash. but once we reach bioenergy production, we will be locked due to no power bomb, no space jump. So labs is not the right play for now. We will leave it behind. Marker's Mask is attempting to find space jump, but so far no luck. But space jump could be in a number of locations. It could be here on Culling Chamber, could be here on Hazing Cliff. It could be hiding in Temple Ground somewhere. Oh, we've got something shiny hiding over there in Culling Chamber today. And would you say hello? Is that Booster Cannon? That is Boost Ball. Alrighty. We will definitely take Boost Ball. Yeah, Boost Ball is going to open up sand processing for us. Oh, nope, we can't get to sand processing quite yet. We don't have Dark Beam. Although, no, we could. Screw Attack, Space Jump, Screw Attack will open the Crystal Gate, even if we don't have Space Jump. As Screw Attack hitbox itself will open the Crystal. But Hazing Cliff, what do we have? Oh, we've just got another cheeseburger. Finding a lot of burgers today, everyone. Oh, space jump on Hive entrance. Yes, it is entirely possible. Light suit is in logic, and we did locate main power bombs somewhere. I believe we started with main power bombs. Oh, and that's fair. Nope, we need Screw Attack. We need Space Jump to activate Screw Attack to actually access Hive entrance. So no, we can't do that. But Sanctuary entrance, yeah, we do have Emerald. We have Boost Ball. It's entirely possible that Space Jump's hiding on Sank entrance today. And if that happens, that would not be a fun time. Alright, so Elias is continuing to move through Dark Aegon. Thankfully, due to them duplicating Dark Suit into Light Suit, we're not going to take any Dark Aether atmospheric damage. Oh, a Marker's Mask making a bold play to go for main reactor. Now, granted, we don't have Dark Beam, but it could be Vanilla hiding on Storage D. And you see this crystal? Well, this crystal can be activated with Space Jump with Screw Attack itself. Marker's Mask just has to get the right angle on it. There he goes. And now it's time to fight Dark Samus 1. There you see Dark Samus. And now you don't see her. Same with Bomb Guardian. If you manage to get power bombs into main reactor, a Dark Samus takes extensive damage to them. And Storage D has dark ammo, so nothing we're going to worry about. And we can't leave that room even if we wanted to. We don't have Dark Beam. That door is hard locked with Dark Beam once we enter. And now Elias is also going for Jump Guardian Skip. Once again, the hitbox is always spawned in, so we can just jump up top to where the hitbox is, damage it down to 1 hit point, start the cutscene, and Jump Guardian's basically instantly destroyed. And thanks to Marker's Mask finding Boost Ball on Culling Chamber, they have the ability to get into sand processing. So will this half pipe have the answer to our question on where Space Jump is? Well, we're about to find out as we roll out of this tunnel. And we come across sand processing have a missile expansion. Okay, we are finding a little too many of those. Now, I did say expansions are great early, but we really want to see a Space Jump. Oh, not quite enough damage done on Elias' side, but they will have to do Jump Guardian just a little bit. But due to Space Jump and... No, excuse me. Due to Spider Ball and Boost Ball, we can do Main Reactor's puzzle the normal way and see what this secondary item is. And I say secondary as Main Reactor would right off of Storage D, which had which had an item itself. But first try main reactor puzzle, which contains a dark beam. Oh hell! Oh god, that's not a good logic chain at all. Oh no, and Dark Oasis has a key. Oh, you don't want to see that. So in order to get Dark Beam, we had to do the entire Jump Guardian loop, get our Spider Ball off a transport center, go to Spider's Treasure after we get Light Beam from Mining Station A, do Spider's Treasure to get Boost Ball off a Calling Chamber, and then do backwards labs so that you could actually access main reactor itself. Well, that's a fun time in itself, isn't it? Well, now that opens up Space Jump for being on a number of additional locations. We could have it here on Storage B. We could have it on Torvus Lagoon. Although Torvus Lagoon's a bit of a tricky one. Now we need Gravity Boost for Lagoon to make it work. And we'd also have to do some crazy jumps over in Hall of Roots. Or Path of Eyes. Well, and Marker's Mask playing dangerous with their health, down to 37. But next stop, we're going to check Command Center. And unfortunately, due to the lack of Space Jump, we can't access Dark Aegon Labs, as Doomed Entry is really prominent on us having Space Jump before entering it. And Command Center appears to just have a missile expansion, so we're not going to worry about picking it up. And speaking of picking things up, how about we grab Light Beam off of Mining Station A on Elias? So hopefully that tells Elias to go towards Ventilation Area A. And continue through the Aegon Labs. But due to Dark Beam, Space Jump could be on Mine Shaft. And that is an entirely plausible probability. And it does seem more likely than not, as we are running quickly out of the rooms we can check without Space Jump in these settings. Oh, okay, no, we'll have Seeker missiles here on Mine Shaft. Okay, that'll open up our Seeker doors. And due to Emerald, we could have Space Jump on Underground Tunnel or Torvus Grove. Or we could have them on, I believe it's Storage A, which is right off of Mining Station B. And Marker's Mask, that is not a Power Bomb door, that is a Seeker door. Wrong color, my friend. And Elias making the smart play, going for Spider's Treasure after acquiring that handy-dandy Light Beam. And what's hiding here on Storage A? Does Storage A have the answer we need? It does indeed. Storage A had Space Jump. That is very, very not nice logic change just to get Space Jump. So we do get another Amber hint, which tells us Amorbus is guarding Sky Temple Key 2. Well, I hope everyone likes seeing Amorbus, as that's required tonight. Now, personally, I do like the Amorbus fight. It's not long, so it doesn't take too much time away out of your normal gameplay. Alrighty, so now due to space jump, Marker's Mask has quite a bit open to them. We could go for Torvis due to Seekers and Boost Ball and Emeralds, so we could go for that Torvis elevator off of Transport Center. We could dive a little bit further into Sanctuary due to having Spider Ball, Boost Ball, and Dark and Light Beam. Or we could go back to Temple Grounds and go for a Sank Entrance play to see if Sank Entrance has anything useful. So the next stop for Marker's Mask, I would really say make your way into... you could go for Torvis, although we don't have super missiles, but that's okay because we could bypass a good majority of the supers. The only problem is we don't have the access to enter lower Torvis. That's fair, bro. We could go get hints, but we'd have to go out of bounds to bypass the super doors. Actually, no, there's no super door blocking us. Yeah, no, there's one door. Yeah, Torvis is risky without having supers, period. And we could enter Sanctuary. There's a lot open to us in Sanctuary Fortress. Although granted, we don't have Echo Visor, so that would isolate a handful of checks. But Light Suit's going to be coming up pretty quickly for Marker's Mask if they go do the Hive Chamber loop, which they should, as this hint right here on Mining Plaza tells them that a suit is on Hive Chamber A. So now that we're going back to DMT to get that Light Suit, that'll put some Light Suit checks into logic. And yeah, we don't have Cobalt, so that's fair. We can't really make that work. Well, in that case, I would say we go back to Temple Grounds, do some more cleanup here. We can get FTA, see if that's got anything useful. And then probably go towards Meeting Grounds, and then use Meeting Grounds to go into Wind Chamber and Wind Chamber Gateway, and possibly enter Torvis through Lagoon. Even though Torvis is a bit risky without gravity and supers, it does have the mass majority of hints and area open to us. Although on the downside, because we do have Aegon Labs open to us now, a play could be said to go back to Aegon Labs, do some Dark Labs play. We could do Doomed Entry, Feeding Pit, in Cache 1, at Battleground. So we got 4 items, all in Dark Labs we can go for. And then Bioenergy Production, because we have Space Jump. So there's not a good way to route it. There's just so much open. This is a common issue in my opinion with Echoes. When you have so much open to you, it's hard to pinpoint where the game really wants you to focus. But other than that, Echoes is a great randomizer. Always a fun time. And Bruh's making a great point in chat. If Markers knows superless hints, we could go get STK hints right away and use that to route in our future. Meanwhile, Elias continuing through Backwards Labs. They've just defeated Dark Samus and found the missile expansion. And hopefully they saw the Dark Beam on main reactor as well before heading into sand processing. Although granted, we need sand processing first so that we can reload the room. All right, well, we got a hint for Defiled Shrine. Defiled Shrine tells us that we have a key. Well, we don't have Dark Visor to even go for that right now. But the good thing is Defiled Shrine is right off a gateway. So there's a probability if that's an STK, we can leave that for absolutely last. But due to us having Seekers and Boost Ball, Hall of Honor Dead is logically open to us. And we just see a Dark Ammo expansion hiding here. I'm sorry, but we will not be collecting it today. Nope, and now we're going to use the method to bypass the super door to get into meeting grounds without needing to go through Transport C and Great Temple. So what Marker's Mask is attempting to do is do what we call an instant morph. Just like that. If we morph at the right, if we morph while the camera's obstructed, the cutscene is skipped, so where we morph instantaneously. And if we do that at the right height, we can jump backwards into this tunnel, bypass the super door leading to meeting grounds, and we can continue along our merry way. While getting information that the keys to Hive Temple can be found in places that are not nice. But on the plus side, Elias has located their dark beam off a main reactor. That's always good to have. And now hopefully they start playing off the dark beam logic itself and go towards Mining Station B. Although Mining Station B is a one and done, but on the flip side, we do have Seekers there, so that will lead right into Mining Station B, where we can find Space Jump on Storage A. Oh, and Marker's Mask is going for the out of bounds method here to bypass the super door. There's a super missile door blocking our path to get into Sky Temple Gateway. Well, Marker's Mask is going to use an out of bounds trick to completely bypass that. So step one, we go to the gondola, we lower one of the claws and use that as a standable, and then we just quite literally jump out of bounds. Now, out of bounds movement is extremely difficult. It's very tricky to navigate, but as we navigate our way, we're using this Aether, as we call it. We're using this voidless space to progress around the rooms, load each room, and then bypass the door in question. Now, I'm not the best at explaining out of bounds, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. So with out of bounds, each room in Echoes is contained inside a box. Now, if you jump outside that box, we call that space the Aether. Now, when you're in the Aether, you'll slowly rise every couple of frames. Well, not every frame, but we slowly rise. Now, if we continuously move from inside the box to out of the box, we're able to input a space jump or any sort of jump movement and climb that box. There's roughly a 3-frame window for us to input a jump. So by getting enough height, we can just quite literally walk around, tap the door, and load the next room around us. And by doing this slowly and carefully, we can load the proper room that we need, in this case War Ritual Grounds, bypass the super door, flip inside the Aether box to go back inbounds, and progress along our way. Alright, so go on and get your notepads ready. It's time for everyone's favorite, the Sky Temple key locations. Your locations today are in Cache 4, that's locked behind Dark Beam. Bioenergy Production, locked behind Space Jump. Dark Torvus Temple, we have yet another required checkout, look at that. Dark Aegon Temple, we have a Morbus. Main Gyro Chamber, we need Echo Visor and Annihilator. Torvus Temple. Sanctuary Energy. Hey, Elias got a key today.
Recording to logbook.
Hydro Chamber Storage. That's Alpha Blog.
Recording to logbook.
And Defiled Shrine. Okay, Defiled Shrine is an STK. Your STK locations have been posted below. And fair note, we've got a long way to go. Okay, so real quick, Marker's Mask is going to take an intended death here. We're using this to warp back to last save. This saves us from walking and having to do another out of bounds to bypass the super door once again. Meanwhile, Elias has completed their playthrough through the backwards Aegon Labs. They've located Dark Beam. They have Light Beam. Now, the sad part is, Elias did not go for Mining Station B and Mine Shaft due to Dark Beam. So, I'm a little curious as to where they're heading. Possibly going for Torvus Lagoon and hoping Torvus has their space jump. Which, honestly, it does make sense. But they're not going to be happy, as, well, moving through Hall of Eyes is going to be a really, not difficult, but I like to say frustrating time. Trying to use bomb jumps instead of space jump. And now we see Marker's Mask has entered Hall of Honor dead once again, using this method to bypass the super door leading to meeting grounds. And due to Marker's Mask having space jump, they're gonna make their way right over to Torvus and start doing some much needed cleanup. Meanwhile, with Elias, they're checking Hall of Honor dead. They don't have seeker missiles to get this item, or actually get out, but they do have boost ball to get the item. It's just that we have to do the tunnel trick with the instant morph to get out. Or we could take a safety save and landing site and just warp back to last save. That also works. So as Marker's Mask makes their way over to the Wind Chamber section and possibly heading for a Torvus play, let's go ahead and cover our SDKs once again, shall we? So in Cache 4, that's all the way on the far side of Dark Aegon early on the Jump Guardian loop. We can get that pretty much any time. Bioenergy production, all we have to do is go into Aegon Labs and we have it. Now let's see, Dark Torvus Temple. That's going to be a problem. So Dark Torvus Temple is the Chica boss fight. We don't have the Torvus keys, nor do we have the information on Torvus keys. Although Path of Ice tells us the gravity boost can be found in Dark Torvus. Thanks, game. That's actually pretty useful, but hopefully it's Upper Dark. So with Checkup, we hard require the 3 temple keys to start the fight. And it can be a fun time trying to find those red keys with them being practically anywhere. And I'm sorry, I am going to say something a little not nice, but we could have a required Chica key hiding on either Tumos or maybe a Quadraxis for a Chica key. How about that? I know it's not nice, but with how these STKs are, it's not nice at all. Alrighty, so now we got another route difference. We got Elias heading right into Plane of Dark Worship, while Marker's Mask continues through Torvus for the first time, where we see Poison Bog has a movement system. Okay, so we have confirmation that Gravity Boost is on Poison Bog. That's a problem, as we don't have knowledge on Dark Visor yet. Now, we know Dark Visor is required. Required for a number of reasons. The problem is we gotta find Dark Visor. As Elias continues through, they've realized playing a Dark Rift ship does not have anything useful for us today. So we're going to leave that item behind and continue forward. But first things first, we're going to get another hint here on Path of Roots, which tells us that the Dark Visor is exactly 2 rooms away from the Dark Beam. That is extremely good information for Marker's Mask. So exactly 2 rooms from Dark Beam. That was on main reactor. So that's either Command Center or it's Sand Canyon. I believe we saw Command Center. So nope, Sand Canyon. Dark Visor is on Sand Canyon today. Well, that'll route in good when we do our Aegon cleanup. Well, it looks like Elias has entered that GFMC compound for the first time. There's your logical missile launcher. Oh, and Marker's Mask is attempting to clip out of bounds. Now, this out of bounds, I believe, is so that we can get into underground tunnel without the use of super missiles. And by clipping out of bounds, if we just screw attack into the tunnel, when the screw attack animation ends, we will be clipped out due to our collision extending past the tunnel, or due to another reason. But I believe it's because our collision exceeds the game's tunnel size. But hint in FTA tells us, okay, Quadraxis has a missile. So, no Chikaki on Quadraxis today. Oh, and bad news for Marker's Mask. This is why we safety save. Unfortunately, when Marker's Mask went out of bounds, they got stuck on 2 pieces of collision, and unfortunately they could not get out of being stuck. And because you're stuck in Morph Ball, you're stuck in collision, you have to go back to your last save and do it all over again. But great attempt, but this also shows how risky doing out of bounds can be. Alright, so Elias has entered Sanctuary Temple. Not Sanctuary Temple, Sanctuary Entrance. We're not at the temple yet. Now, we're still hunting for Space Jump, and it is entirely possible for Space Jump to be here on Sank Entrance with our equipment. Now, we here, watching at home, know that it's absolutely not here. But for what Elias and BashPrime have knowledge-wise, it makes complete sense to check this location. All right, Marker's Mask is going for the out of bounds once again. We'll see if I believe we're doing this out of bounds so that we can get underground tunnel without the use of super missiles. All right, so we've successfully clipped out of bounds. Now we're going to progress forward. Okay, Marker's Mask has to be careful. We only have very limited movement window that we can use out of bounds in. And we have to make each input count. Alright, so we've successfully loaded Torvus Temple. That's good. Alright, Elias opening Sanctuary Entrance to realize, oh no, that's a missile expansion. And great job by Marker's Mask. They have successfully clipped into Torvus Temple without the use of supers. And they're making the smart play of opening the Aegon elevator. Or, you know, we could be going right for Aegon and just doing some in-cache 4 cleanup. And I think this is a smart play by Marker's Mask. By doing this, we're able to get the Dark Visor off of Sand Canyon, and we get the in-cache 4 Sky Temple key. And if we do decide to stay here, we could dive right into labs, use that for some cleanup in labs and dark labs, while also getting the bioenergy key. So really great play by Marker's Mask here, saving labs for last. That's a great point as well, with Bruh saying in chat. Yeah, by us getting Dark Visor this early without doing much of Torvis, we can get that gravity boost through first pass. We don't have to route backwards for it. And that gravity boost will make Torvis movement a whole lot easier. Alright, but first things first, we do have to get that Dark Visor. Dark Visor is the first play in this entire ladder. And speaking of labs, looks like Elias has gone for the Dark Aegon Labs play. No, they don't have space jump, so they can't get out. They have to use the screw attack height extender. Yep, it looks like Elias has fell down into the poison, but they get out with a good jump. Unfortunately, it's just Sneak Tank hiding on Battleground today. Alright, so it looks like Marker's Mask is not going for the labs play. Looks like they're deciding to go for just to get the Dark Visor, and then use that to go for your gravity boost here in Dark Torvis. And unfortunately, due to Elias not having space jump, again, they're unable to leave Dark Aegon Labs, so they had to go back to the last save. Even with screw attack extended height, there's just not enough height to make it up into Doomed Entry. Oh, okay. This was actually worth it for Marker's Mask. Super missiles on underground tunnel. With the hint telling us our friend roster is empty. Okay, yeah, so with Marker's Mask finding supers here in Torvis, this solidifies, this pretty much tells us that we want to stay in Torvis. We don't want to leave, we want to get everything that Torvis has to offer. As now that supers are in hand, this completely opens the entirety of Lower Torvis. This allows us to get into Dark Torvis without any headaches. Although granted, we could just go through Forgotten Bridge, but this opens up Dark Forgotten Bridge for a little bit of a cut through. So yeah, this is great find by Marker's Mask. And as the infamous Captain MD always used to say, and still does to this day, quote, "There is always progression in Underground Tunnel." And speaking of progression, that's the word. Elias and BashPrime have entered Mineshaft. They've located Seeker missiles here, and hopefully they will use these Seekers immediately to get into Mining Station B for an eventual space jump on Storage A. That is pretty rough, having a 1 hour, nearly a 1 hour space jump. Oh, that's a fun time that you don't want to see. Alrighty, and great job. They've located Space Jump. This now opens up Elias's game. They have a lot to do, a lot of ground to catch up. But don't worry, this race is still anybody's game. In no way are we calling it. We've got a ton of STKs to get. We've got a handful of majors left to find. But first, we're gonna get this information that Amorbis has an STK. That's a great hint to have. So currently we are hunting for Chica keys and Amorbis keys. And hello, would you like an energy transfer module today? Well, great, I put your ETM on Torbis Plaza, one of the worst rooms to try to go through. Well, I would say with Elias's current equipment, he's got a good progression that he can go for. We could go right into Sanctuary through Spider Side. We could go for Torvis because of those Seekers. There's a good endless amount of possibilities. It just depends on what Elias and BashPrime are thinking. But even better for them, going for Sand Canyon first. This will get them Dark Visor without having to do a reroute. And with that Dark Visor in hand, that'll be pretty good for later on during cleanup. But everyone say hello to the infamous Boost Guardian, one of the most difficult bosses out there. And amazing first try, quick kill by Marker's Mask. Round of applause. Boost Guardian takes extreme damage due to power bombs. If we lay a power bomb at just the right time, where Boost Guardian enters their puddle phase, this will allow Boost Guardian to take extensive damage by frame from that power bomb. And this boss fight is over in less than a few seconds. Alright, so let's keep on moving through Torvis Bog, shall we? Marker's Mask got the information about a movement system here in Poison Bog. There's only one movement system left that we haven't found, and that is Gravity Boost. Now, do we need Gravity Boost? I mean, we could probably skip it. We don't have anything really... Well, no, we have one thing really locking behind Gravity Boost, and that's Hydro Chamber Storage. We really want to have... we really want Gravity Boost for Lower Torbis. So the good thing that it's right here on Poison Bog, that makes us going through Lower Torbis just like walking on air, or in this case, floating through water. All right, and Elias has stumbled across their first STK. Guide Temple Key number 8 on Incash 4. That's a great routing decision by Elias there. Getting Incash 4 while you're already here in Dark Aegon. This saves you time during later cleanup, and you don't have to waste time coming back here. So now let's go and take a peek. Let's put these super missiles to good use now that we have them. What's hiding behind Cache B today? Well, I'm sorry, it's just a missile expansion. And it looks like Elias going for Junction Site to get that second E-Tank. Yes, Light Suit is nice, but we really want to have minimally 4 to 5 E-Tanks for safety. As during the Emperor Ring boss fights, it can get pretty tense. Oh, this is a great time to mention that our current race host today is Uncle Reggie. You can say hi to Reggie in the chat, who's just shown up. Yes, Reggie, you've generated another required Chica seed today. And Reggie, I'd also like to point out, before commenting anything further, please take a look at the following STK locations. That's what you've caused today. With Space Jump on Mining Station, not Mining Station B, but Storage A, right next to Mining Station B, with Dark Beam on Main Reactor, and Seekers on Mine Shaft. It was not a fun early game. Alright, so interesting decision. Looks like Elias is going for the Torvus Temple play. Because we have Emerald, Seekers, Boost Ball, Dark Beam, Light Beam, Power Bombs, and Space Jump, we have a lot of work that we can do here in Torvus. Oh, and good news from Marker's Mask. Dark Aegon Key. Dark Aegon Key 1 has been located on Great Bridge. Great Bridge for the first Dark Aegon Key. And Elias is about to stumble into their super missiles, courtesy of Underground Tunnel. Alright, now time for the 2-for-1 special. 2 pirates destroyed with 1 super missile. Can you beat a deal like that? I mean, you're just saving 5 missiles without having to destroy the other pirate. Alrighty, so it looks like Elias and Marker's Mask are both sort of right behind each other. Elias spent a little bit more time doing Aegon and Temple Grounds cleanup, while Marker's Mask was a little scattered and went right for Torvus Bog first. So while Elias is right behind Marker's Mask in Torvus, Markers has a slight advantage in already completing a majority of Dark Torvus. Let's say hello to Avok here in that. And looks like we got a Dark Torvus key hiding on Torvus Energy, with a hint telling us a beam is in Dark Torvus. Okay. Well, we know Annihilator is somewhere here in Dark Torvus Bog today. And please let it not be on Under Temple. Oh, speaking of Under Temple, I'm sorry, folks, but we remember that hint that we had off of Dark Oasis? Dark Oasis had a key. It's very plausible that's a Chica key, and if it is, that is a terrible route. Now, hopefully it's an Amorbus key, and we can route that in before going to Amorbus, but we'll find out. As Elias gets their first Chica key, Dark Torvus key number 2 off of Meditation Vista. So far, 2 Chica keys located here in Torvus Bog. Pretty good location. Now all we have to do is find the 3rd key. And for that, Marker's Mask is going to dive headfirst right into Lower Torvus. And having that gravity boost from Poison Bog is going to make this so much easier. But the next play for Marker's Mask, we're going to make our way to Hydro Chamber Storage, get the STK off of Alpha Blog, and right now we're really looking for Echo and Annihilator. That's the biggest things we're trying to find.
Recording to logbook.
Okay, well there's our progressive suit hint for Transport A access. Thank you, game. So we're just past the 1 hour mark. It's now time for my favorite part of the race, and that's the 1 hour rundown. We're safely within the midpoint. We're about 50% completed this race for both runners. So now I say is a good time to sit back, evaluate how far we've come, and what each runner needs to do to progress forward. Starting on the right with Elias and BashPrime. And granted, we did find Space Jump a little bit later than we would have liked. We found it just around the 57-minute mark. But the good thing is, due to us having Light Suit and Dark Visor before entering Torvus, we won't have to route anything back in, as we can go get Gravity Boost immediately. So that Gravity Boost will come in handy for a handful of different objectives.
To logbook.
And real quick, Catacombs Dungeon has a key. Okay, we can get that immediately. And the Super Missile can be found in Underground Tunnel. That's a fantastic hint to have if we haven't already done Underground Tunnel. So continuing with Elias while Marker's Mask goes for the Dungeon Key. The best play for Elias in this spot right now is clear out Dark Torvus, get your gravity boost off of Poison Bog. Then it's time to start doing Torvus cleanup while we look for Echo Visor and Annihilator. And in Elias's case, Super Missiles as well. Once you locate all three, you're in go mode and can route in your keys however you feel is necessary. But right now, the biggest catalyst for Elias is trying to find Supers and Echo and Annihilator, with Supers being number one since we are in Torvus. So their best bet, go through Torvus, stumble across your Supers, then save Sanctuary for last, while also considering how you're going to route in Aegon Waste with your Amorbus keys, as we got a major key hunt left ahead of us. Oh, but it looks like we got the wrong key. That's an Inghive key in Dungeon. That's not the one we want. Alright, now going over to Marker's Mask for the rundown. Let's see. Marker's Mask is in a great position. We have Super Missiles off of Underground Tunnel. We have two Torvus keys, one Amorbus key. Although, granted, we are still missing we are still missing Echo and Annihilator. We know for a fact Annihilator is here in Dark Torvus. Unfortunately, we have no information on where Echo Visor is. That could pose a problem when we get to Sanctuary later. So I'd say for Marker's Mask, their best bet, continue through Lower Torvus, then use the elevator here behind Training Chamber to go into Sanctuary Vault side, and then start doing some Sanctuary cleanup after you're done in Lower Torvus and Dark Torvus. Oh, you remember how I was mentioning we were missing Echo Visor? Well, we found Echo. Echo is hiding on Spider Guardian. Let us hope that that's on the tunnel item and not on Spider Guardian itself, because that would make it required Cobalt. And unfortunately, we have like no information on Cobalt whatsoever. Okay, so now that Marker's Mask has information, no, we have no information on Annihilator either. I stand corrected. We have information that Annihilator is in Dark Torvus. Now, what specific part of Dark Torvus? That we don't know. But we do know Annihilator Beam is in Dark Torvus, and we can find it. So Marker's Mask, their best option after they're done in Dark Torvus. Take your elevator to Sanctuary, do some cleanup, go get your Echo Visor, get Main Gyro Chambers STK, and then leave Amorbus for last. And on the right side of your screen, as we were going through the rundown, Elias has just performed a great trick known as Air Underwater. This is to get this E-Tank without the use of Gravity Boost. So, in short, what Air Underwater essentially does is tricks the game into thinking we're still on land while in a body of water. And because the game is tricked into thinking we're still on a portion of land, we have the ability to input space jump and screw attack. That gets us another E-Tank without the use of gravity. And in order to perform that trick, we have to morph the same frame we enter a body of water. When that camera transitions to a water state, that's when we want to hit our morph button. And here we have information where Dark Visor is, except they already have it. And speaking of another fantastic trick, earlier you saw, just a couple of seconds ago, you saw Marker's Mask enter Alpha Blog's fight. Well, we didn't actually fight Alpha Blog. By doing a bomb space jump into a gravity boost, we can just quite literally leave. The developers didn't think to lock the door to Alpha Blog. But since we are still missing Annihilator, we know it's in Dark Torvus. Might as well fight Powerbomb Guardian. That, and we do have the information that Dark Oasis has a key. A Dark Oasis item will not spawn until Powerbomb Guardian is defeated. Now, Powerbomb Guardian, that's an underrated fight. I think Powerbomb Guardian is a good fight. It makes you think and strategize just a bit. But with that being said, the giant evil plant has been neutralized. It is now time to find what is hiding here on the wall. Do we have a wall of Annihilator? We do not. Will the plant itself have Annihilator? I did not either. No. Okay. Well, that's not good. We're quickly running out of checks that we can do here in Dark Torvus. But based on what we currently have access to, I'm assuming Annihilator will either be on A, under Transit 1, or B, Grapple Guardian. In which case, that's just yet another boss fight to add to this conundrum. And moving over to Elias, looks like they've just entered Cache A. They've also found their Poison Bog Gravity Boost. And in turn, we'll be going for Cache B, followed by some more cleanup in Torvus, with the strong probability of entering Lower Torvus. Now, Lower Torvus will essentially get them Annihilator, and also defeating Powerbomb Guardian for that Dark Oasis information. But say hello to the Grapple Guardian. Fun fact, you're going to have a hard time if you don't scan this boss. In order to actually lock onto the boss and move around to its weak point, you have to scan it. And please don't learn the hard way of being someone who shuffles Scan Visor and then the game deciding to put you at Grapple Guardian while you wait for somebody to send you your scan visor. Let's just say I learned that the hard way, and it was not fun. But Grapple Guardian's not a hard fight by any means. Alright, just a few more light beam shots will do the trick, and Grapple Guardian has been defeated. Meanwhile, it looks like Elias, after doing the loop for Dark Taurus Upper, is going right back for Forgotten Bridge, and it appears Grapple Guardian only has a missile expansion. Okay, that tells us Annihilator has to be on Under Transit 1. As Dungeon has an Inghive key, and there are no other Dark Taurus checks that are left. Yeah, you can see it from here. You see those sparkles hiding above the tunnel? That gives us confirmation it is Annihilator. Well, nothing wrong with having an Annihilator here. But it's time to keep on moving forward. So, Marker's Mask is 100% complete here in Torvus. We're done. We don't need anything further from Torvus Bog. We can just leave. And the best bet for Marker's Mask is to take the Sanctuary Vault Elevator off a training chamber and use that to route in some Sanctuary cleanup. But first, we get to see what's here on Gathering Hall. And Transport Tunnel East. Transport Tunnel East, TTE. We're going to use that newfound Annihilator beam, and we're going to see what we come across. So the biggest thing from Marker's Mask right now is we know that Echo is in a great location off Dynamo Chamber. Thing that we don't have is if it's on the Spider Guardian itself or if that's on the tunnel item. Regardless, we don't want to take the risk, so we are hunting for Cobalt. And furthermore, we're still missing 4 required keys. We need 1 more Torvus key and 2 more Amorbis keys. So which key did Marker's Mask just come across here in Transport Tunnel? Okay, Dark Aegon key number 2. That's excellent to have. Dark Aegon key, Transport Tunnel East. And now Elias gets the information on Torvus Energy that a beam is found in Dark Torvus, with the Dark Torvus key here on Avok. I'm just going to take this quick little moment of silence to enjoy the Torvus music. Yeah, all of the Metroid games, every single one of them had fantastic music and composition. And Echoes is no exception. It's a beautiful soundtrack to listen to. Alright, but let's keep on moving forward, shall we? Marker's Mask has completed their loop throughout the entirety of Torvus Bog. They don't ever have to return unless they use it for a shortcut. So next on the list, Sanctuary Fortress. the technological advancement of the local population. Now, due to the lack of cobalt, we cannot get this hint. And yes, we do have to return for Chica, but we're going to try not to remember that as well. No one wants to go back for Chica. So I should have made my statement a little bit clearer. We're not really hunting for any items in Torvis. We just gotta go fight Chica and we can get out. Once Chica's defeated, see you later. On the flip side, Elias has just entered Great Temple from a save warp. We're going through Storage C to get into Meeting Grounds. We could be seeing another Torvis play, but most likely due to us having Dark Visor and Seekers, this could push Elias towards a Sank entrance play. Or actually, no, because we have Supers and Seekers, they're going for STK hints. Alright, so great idea by Elias and BashPrime. Going for STKs now that you have the required equipment. Alright, and Hive Dynamo has a beam related. Nothing that we're worried about. And Dynamo okay, hey. Great news from M4RKERSM4SK. Or was that Echo? Yeah, that had to have been Echo on the tunnel. It can't be Cobalt, as we need Cobalt to enter Worker's Path to get into Dynamo Works. Yeah, so because that can't be Cobalt, that has to be Echo on the tunnel item. And that's good news for M4RKERSM4SK, as Markers is fully aware of the method to get that item without defeating Spider Guardian. Alright, and not a bad puzzle here. Not a bad puzzle at all. Although granted, because we are an old patcher, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that these puzzles are standard. They are not randomized unless we're running new patcher. And once again, we're taking a handy-dandy safety save. Again, you never know when you're going to need a safety save. Alright, Elias has just entered the gateway. They found 2 STKs. They need to find 7 more. And the 7 they're about to locate are going to be in some pretty bad locations. Now, see, it's starting off easy with bioenergy. And then it throws you the curveball for required Chica. But you know what? I am happy that we have required Sank Energy Controller. That just makes O'Lear that much more important to us. Because everyone loves O'Lear. Alright, and Elias took an intended warp. They're resetting back to main menu to go to last save. Alright, and it looks like M4RKERSM4SK is going back to Dynamo Dynamo Chamber in attempts to get that Echo Visor without defeating Spider Guardian. Now this trick is a bit difficult, but it's not. We have unlimited attempts at it. Oh, wait, no, Marker's Mask is going for the out of bounds method. Okay, interesting way to go about this. So in Dynamo Chamber, for some reason, if we stand at the right position and angle of the door, if we morph at the right time, we can just quite literally fall out of bounds through the door. I'm not entirely sure why this happens. I'm not familiar with this particular out of bounds. But essentially, we are doing this to bypass the requirement for Spider Guardian, and we're just going to roll right into the next room. Except this probably isn't for Spider Guardian at all. Nope, it is. Okay, so we have Dynamo Chamber loaded properly. We're walking over to the tunnel. And now we're going to attempt to clip back inbound right inside that tunnel. Alright. Keep going for it, Mark. You're right above your target. Oh, you're still a little too high, but always got to play it safe. Out of bounds is extremely risky. Okay. All right. Marker's Mask has done it. First try out of bounds to get the Echo Visor without defeating Spider Guardian. Absolutely amazing. Great job, Mark. Oh, and here we see my absolute favorite boss. We see a required Alpha Block fight. And because we have Echo, we can immediately get main Gyro Chambers SDK. Now Elias is fighting Alpha Block here. This could be because they're not familiar with the bomb space jump into a gravity boost to bypass this fight. But even so, Alpha Block doesn't take up too much time. It's only a couple of minutes. Alright, here's why we needed Echo. Alright, there's that SDK off of main Gyro Chamber. That's another one in the books for Marker's Mask and Lenophis. Alrighty, so let's see. What do we have currently going on? Well, Elias has just defeated Alpha Blog. Nice work. That blog can get pretty reckless, so we gotta get around it. While Marker's Mask is about to say hello to everybody's favorite Luminoth, the last sentinel of the Fortress Temple, our good buddy O'Lear. And unfortunately, we don't have Cobalt to actually read O'Lear's hint for us today. But we could have another Power Bomb Guardian fight over on Elias' side, while Marker's Mask continues into Sentinel's path. And hey, we're going to use our Echo Visor here to hopefully find Cobalt. We got high, high, low, high. High, high, and E-Tank. Much obliged. All right, so Marker's Mask is essentially in go mode. Even though we skipped the requirement for Cobalt, we don't need Cobalt anymore. The only thing we're missing is one Torvus key and one Dark Aegon key. Once we find those two keys, we can defeat their respective bosses, get those STKs, and we're in good condition. The only problem is we got to go find those STKs, or not the STKs, but the red keys. But have no fear, we got plenty of room to go. Alrighty, Powerbomb Guardian's almost defeated on Elias' side, while Marker's Mask is just about to enter Watch Station. We'll see if this little station has anything useful for us today. Alright, does Watch Station have any of the red keys we're missing? No, it does not. And yes, the Resbit is mad, but nobody likes Resbits, so we're just going to try to ignore it. Although, fun fact, if you manage to get the Cannonball state while against a Resbit, Resbits take 4 times damage due to Cannonball. And due to Cannonball dealing 500,000 hit points of damage per frame, that means Cannonball plus Resbits equals 2 million hit points of damage. Just total annihilation of Resbits, which is the best type. But we've got a red key hiding here on aerial training site today. We're not going to enter this room through the proper means. And that's the last Torvus key. So aerial training site, there's a small gap between the 2 walls of the box. We can use that gap to access the scan pedestal, and because we can access the scan point, that allows us to lower the box. It doesn't check to see if we're in front of the scan point, it just wants to see if the point has been scanned. And information for super missiles, thanks game, we already have it. Alright, so let's see. What we have 4 keys, we're still missing 5. Elias has 3 keys, we're still missing 6. But Elias is progressing pretty quickly through Torvus Bog. And hopefully once they reach Dark Torvus, they find their Annihilator Beam on Under Transit 1, and then afterwards they go towards Sanctuary Fortress. Alright, great information for Elias. Locating that Echo Visor is on Dynamo. And Marker's Mask has entered Torvus Bog once again. Most likely due to us having all 3 Torvus keys. It's time to go fight Chica while we're here. Now let's see. In Cache 4, Bioenergy Production, Dark Torvus Temple, and Defiled Shrine. Those are the 4 that Marker's Mask is currently missing. Or 4. We're missing 5. So in Cache 4, Bioenergy, Dark Torvus Temple, Defiled Shrine, and Dark Aegon Temple. That's the 5th one. As for Elias, in addition to everything that was said, they also need to go for Sync Energy Controller. So both runners are missing relatively the same keys. It's just that Elias has not done Sanctuary Fortress yet and entered Lower Torvus a little bit later than Marker's Mask. Information on a progressive suit? Well, thank you, game. We've already located that. Open smart idea by Elias, lowering the gate to enter under Channel 1 itself from the back side. Instead of going through the front door underneath Grapple Guardian. And great frame to freeze on, game. You've got Samus entering a bit of an awkward animation status there. Oh, there we go. All right, so Elias has entered Dark Torvus. There's a small hitbox for that light crystal where if you screw attack at the right angle, screw attack will activate that light crystal and lower the red barrier. It works similar to how the light crystal moves the gate over in main reactor. But with a full set of power bombs, missiles, and ammunition, Marker's Mask is ready for Lenophis to guide them through the Dark Torvus Temple fight. Say hello to Chica. And again, we're scanning Chica so that we can lock onto its weak point. This will allow us to do the maximum amount of damage. All right, nice super missile hit. And Elias has entered under Planet 1 and has obtained their Echo Visor. Not Echo Visor, Annihilator Beam, I'm sorry. I got Echo on the mind. And that's okay. All right, Chica. You might have tilted the platform in your favor, but you cannot take us down. Unfortunately, Elias is still searching for 1 Torvus key and 2 Amorbis keys. Sadly, Dungeon is an Inghive key, so this will not be worth it. But Chica Larva is almost defeated. Oh, and we don't have Cannonball to make Chica Adult so much faster. So we actually get to see the entirety of the Chica Adults fight. No Cannonball today. Yeah, you're absolutely right, chat. At least Marker's Mask has Seekers. Unlike yesterday, where runners had to do Chica Seeker less, and it took a good while. It wasn't terrible, it's just that it adds an extra like 4 stages to this fight. Oh, but Marker's Mask just missed a wing. Well, you didn't miss the wing. We gotta hit him twice. forgot we had to hit him twice. That was my bad. Marker's Mask so far pulling off an extremely clean Chica fight. And you see Marker's Mask holding off a little bit here. We're waiting for Chica to fire her little chiclets at us. That way we can use them to gain a little bit more light ammo. As right now having literally 0, that's going to be a problem. But thankfully these little chiclets will give us a ton of ammunition. While Elias has located the second key to the Aegon Temple over in the Transport Tunnel East. Alright, good hit by Marker's Mask. Looks like all 4 were hit. Got 4 more to go. Alright. Oh, we had a bit of a problem. We destroyed one wing, but not the others. There we go. Now Chica's on the final phase. Just a handful more light beam pellets. Alright, Chica Adult has been defeated. All for another STK. And yet another reason why we need Dark Visor. These platforms are invisible. They're trapped between dimensions. Now, fun fact, if you don't have Dark Visor, you can still leave this room. The problem is just because the platforms are invisible, they still have collision, even if you can't see them. So you can just shoot the platforms to line yourself up, jump on top of the invisible platform, and do that multiple times around the room. Alright, so that's 5 keys for Marker's Mask. Elias is still working their way through Sanctuary Fortress, holding onto 3 keys. But they only have one Amorbis and 1 Chica key left to find. But they are getting close. Alright, so now that Marker's Mask has completed Torvis for 100%, we're done with Torvis. Chica's defeated. We don't ever have to come back here. Now, Marker's Mask is only missing 4 keys. We have Incash 4, Bioenergy Production, the Dark Aegon Temple, and Defiled Shrine. Now, Defiled Shrine we're going to leave for absolutely last, right before we enter Gateway. So we're going to pretend that key does not exist. So Incash 4, Bioenergy, Dark Aegon Temple. The best method for Marker's Mask here is to use the Aegon Temple the Aegon Portal elevator off of Torvis Temple. This will line us up perfectly to go for Incash 4. Then we can use that to cut through Warrior's Walk, go and take the Light Portal and Main Reactor, use that to get Bioenergy. Well, actually, we'll leave that one for last, because once we're in Dark Aegon, we'll do Incash 4 first, then we'll do the Dark Aegon Temple fight for Amorbis. And then lastly, we'll route in Bioenergy so that we can use a nearby save station for a warp back to start. As for Elias, on the other hand, we are still hunting for 1 Aegon, 1 Torvis key. Oh, and they are thrown in the direction of Hive Entrance, it seems. That's not going to play out well for them, sadly. The best method for Elias right now is to continue through Sanctuary, find those two keys, do Dynamo Chamber to get your Echo Visor, and then once you have Echo, we can get Main Gyro Chamber, that makes key 4. We can go back to Chica, that gets key 5, and then follow the exact same path as Marker's Mask. But right now, Elias has to get those two remaining red keys, and still get Main Gyro Chamber before being able to leave Sanctuary. Alrighty, here's in cache 4. We only have 2 keys left. Oh, correction, 3 keys. I'm forgetting about Defiled Shrine. See, I tell y'all not to worry about Defiled Shrine, and here I am forgetting it myself. Alright, but now it's time to go fight everybody's favorite worm boss, Amorbus. Now, with Amorbus, there's not too much we can do to really speed this fight up. There is one trick that we can utilize, which we're going to attempt, and we call it Worm Skip. Oh, I'm sorry, we are still missing an Amorbus key. Oh, didn't realize that. I thought we had all 3 of them. Okay, so we are still missing an Amorbus key. 2 are in Torvus Bog. The last one must be here in Dark Aegon somewhere. Yep, Aegon keys and Aegon, Dark Aegon, and Torvus. So let's go hunting for that final Aegon key, and then we can do Amorbus. Oh, and we got that information that Dark Oasis had a key. How much you want to bet that's where our last Aegon key is? And look at that. We had to do Torvus first so that we could defeat Powerbomb Guardian, just so we could get this pesky little red key. All right, and Elias is continuing in through Aegon Wastes. Looks like they're done in Sanctuary for now, so they're going for Aegon cleanup. They took the Spider Side elevator to get here to main reactor side. And we're doing this just so we can progress forward. We're heading into bioenergy production, which will get us another key. So unfortunately, it looks like routing got the better of Elias today. Yeah. Oh, but as I was saying, yeah, Elias put up a great fight up in the start. But unfortunately, routing just got the better of him. Trying to find space jump, trying to get those. Space jump was the biggest catalyst. It was just a lot of time trying to find him. And then with Marker's Mask doing Spider's Treasure as early as he did, followed by Torbus and how clean Torbus went, right into a Sanctuary play. And not to mention, Marker's doing the out of bounds method to check STK hints early. That gave a slight routing advantage. Yeah, but Marker's Mask is making a straight line back to Amorbus. Oh, and here's Cobalt. You know, we were looking for Cobalt the entire time. Cobalt was here on Storage C. That's a pretty nasty place for it. All the way in the backside of Aegon Labs just to do Dynamo Chamber for logical Echo. Oh man, that was one heck of a time. Yeah, so if Elias is not familiar with the trick to get Echo without the use of fighting Spider Guardian, then them locating Cobalt is a huge break. It just sucks that Cobalt was all the way here on a one-off check. But the good thing is, because they defeated Power Bomb Guardian, Elias has everything they need to go get Dark Oasis for that third Amorbus key, and we'll probably be seeing Amorbus fight momentarily from both runners. So with Amorbus, to mention there was one potential skip that we could do to make this faster, and that's what we call Worm Skip. So the first phase of Amorbus, nothing special. You have one worm, you need to blow it up. During the second phase, the worm doubles, and you have two worms. So when we get to the second phase, if we damage both worms and lay a bomb in both of them at relatively the same time, because both worms are in there, because we damage both of them so quickly together, the game doesn't play the cutscene required to spawn the third worm in, and as such, during the third phase, we only have two worms to deal with, not three. So we're going to see Marker's Mask attempt to get it. We'll damage the first worm, damage the second worm, lay a bomb in worm 1, boost over to worm 2, lay a bomb, and the cutscene has been successfully skipped. Both worms are in their damage step, so now it is time to do it one more time. Now, friendly note, please do not do Worm Skip twice in a row. If you do attempt to pull Worm Skip on during the third and final phase, this fight will lock, you will delete the item inside Amorbus, and you will not be able to get it. At least not by proper means. As unfortunately, the cutscene will never play. It gets skipped again. And you're stuck here for eternity. Alright, STK number 2 has been acquired. Or in this case, key number 8. And the good thing about where Marker's Mask is, there's a save station right off of Amorbus. And we can use this for a save warp. And look at that. All Dark Aegon keys have been found. Use them at the temple to gain entry. Well, you know what, game? That is a great piece of advice. Just one problem. We already did that. But that's okay. That's a nice little feature. That's a nice little feature Echoes has. If you ever don't know what you're having, if you're trying to think, do I have all the keys or not? Go back to your save. It'll tell you. You use that save station. It'll say, yep, you do have all the keys. You can use them. That's easy, the hassle of trying to find out manually. And Elias is still looking for that third Chica key, most likely. They have the information where Echo is. Nope, they're a little too low. They're not going to get that. That's just a missile expansion, though, so nothing too worrisome. And we get to cut through Warrior's Walk, though, and see that it has yet another missile expansion. Again, nothing we need to worry about. But because we have all three Morbus keys, we might as well fight the boss now while we're here. That way we don't have to route Aegon back. As thankfully, I believe we did do Incash 4. Nope, we still have to do Incash 4. So as one runner finishes a Morbus, another runner starts the fight. But for Marker's Mask, this race is almost over. All we have left are the final bosses, and to return the keys. And thankfully, due to us having super missiles, we don't have to go out of bounds. We can just take the normal path and be all set. Here's that last key, hiding right off of the gateway into File Shrine. Alright, so Elias is also going to attempt worm skip on the right side of your screen. Both worms are damaged, but unfortunately it was not the right setup. Because both worms were damaged so fast, can we get there in time? Nope, we couldn't do it. Yeah, we were too far away. For a good worm skip setup, in my opinion, your best bet is to stand at one worm and damage the worm furthest from you. Or no, damage the worm you're right underneath. Then as you let your shot fire to damage the furthest worm, go blow up the first one. That ensures you have a lot of time to roll to the last one. But we're going to take one final safety save here in the Sky Temple. And now it is time to destroy the Emperor Ring. Oh, and for some reason Elias threw a power bomb inside a Morbus. That's not the right bomb. And got punished for it with a light show. Nothing we can do to stop light show early. We just have to let the cutscene, or not the cutscene, but we gotta let this little animation play out. Alright, so what's going to happen with Emperor Ring in a short amount of time? So with Emperor Ring number 1, what we'll be doing is using Light Beam or Annihilator to destroy the 4 extended tendrils, and then fire super missiles at the core. 4 super missiles gives us what we need to move on to the next phase of this fight. We got 2 on Marker's Mask. Can we get a third? Yes, we can. But unfortunately, we missed one of the super missiles earlier, so we have to do a second phase. That one, great power bomb drop to destroy all the tentacles at once. Alright, Emperor Ring number 2 will be rolling around at the speed of sound to destroy these extended culverts. We'll blow them up with power bombs and regular bombs so that we can reveal the true Emperor Ring. But fantastic Emperor Ring 2 there. Good, a good 3 power bomb cycle. All right, and amazing screw attack, already down to 50% health. So with Emperor Ring 3, okay, well, look at that. 2 screw attacks against Emperor Ring 3, and it's already defeated. Fantastic work, Marker's Mask. Great job. Alright, so with what was supposed to be Emperor Ring 3... right, Reggie, it went by so quickly. So Emperor Ring number 3. Long story short, during development, there was meant to be an additional step where Emperor Ring 3 had armor, and you could damage that armor with screw attack. The armor step got removed, but the hitbox for it did not. So because the hitbox is still active, we can use screw attack against it to deal massive damage. Alright, now Dark Samus 3 and 4. With Dark Samus 3, we'll be firing about 25 Annihilator shots, just so we do enough damage so it's right after the last letter S in the text. This will force Dark Samus to start cycling into her last and final phase. Once she comes crashing down, we can use a screw attack to try to input extra damage. Looks like we missed a screw attack. Where did she go? Dark Samus, where are you? There you are. Alright, so when Dark Samus crashes down again, we'll use screw attack to input some damage. This amount of damage forces Dark Samus just into where she needs to go for the final phase. Now, for the final phase of Dark Samus, she's going to try to enter the center of the room, like that. Now, what Marker's Mask attempted to do with a stun lock, by firing missiles at Dark Samus, that forces her to raise her phase-on shield. And once that shield goes down, there's a few frame window where we can input some damage. If we rinse and repeat, Dark Samus never goes to the center of the room, and the fight's over in just a couple of moments. Unfortunately, we didn't get it today, but that's okay. That's okay. With how clean Emperor Ring was, I knew it was too good to be true. But that's all right. And Elias has just entered Sanctuary after going through Aegon Labs, using Cobalt to get some extra hint that Chica has an STK. Great location for that when you're already 2 hours in. And they also saw the Echo Visor on Dynamo Works, so they know that it's on the tunnel item. Oh, but this race has been a fantastic one to watch. Both of these runners put up an amazing display of skill. So I can't fault any of them. They both did a great job. And having these mentors with them, Lenophis and BashPrime, with both being senior members of the community, having extensive knowledge in routing and logic chains, and movement especially, it was great to show how far these runners have progressed with help. But again, I would say in the end, routing got the best of Elias. By doing Sanctuaries late, and the hunt for Space Jump, especially in the early game, that really sealed the deal. Well, I can't say sealed the deal, you know, it was close until the very end. But that's time. Dark Samus has been defeated. Final time of 2:06:19. Unfortunately, routing just got the better of Elias. It was a rough seed to try to route, though. It was just a rough seed altogether. So thank you, Reggie, for this headache tonight. Oh, there's our Dark Torvus information for keys. Oh, hiding on a Cobalt hint. But with that being said, we now welcome M4RKERSM4SK and Lenophis into the booth. Welcome, congratulations.
Thank you. And hello.
Hello, hello. Oh, that was a fun race today, wasn't it?
Yep. Those STKs, my goodness. So frustrating.
So bad. With
Yeah.
casino mode Chica keys on top of it.
Trying to find your red keys today was a fantastic display of where are they, what haven't I checked, and what is accessible to me right now. Or basically
And
just...
I'll be honest, until we spiked that one in ATS, I thought we were going to have to go back to Dark Labs because, oh my, there's no way Bash and Elias did not do this. They have the Chica keys. Like, we might be in trouble here.
That one key on ATS. I mean, the good news is, even though you had Dynamo Works, thankfully it was on the tunnel item and not Guardian itself. Nope, and we have an invalid link. Give me 1 second. I'll be back momentarily. I need to send a manual invite out.
Yep.
Okay, so let me see. Where is... Okay, so I'll do that. Then I click this button. No, not that button. Not that oh, do I not have access to it again?
Hold on. Let me...
Yeah, no, I don't have access to do the manual invite.
I gotcha.
Okay.
All right, and then BashPrime. All right, there we go.
Right.
Both
right.
invites sent out.
Oh,
much
appreciated.
Also invalid. Okay. Copy to web browser.
You know, we were having such a good time.
Technology is great when it works.
You know, that's the key statement. When it works. Oh man.
Oh, I see they have Cobalt.
They do. Would you like to take a wild guess where Cobalt was?
There's like 3 places left: ship, FTA,
Storage
sank entrance,
C.
wind chamber.
Storage C. Oh no.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
that's
Labs
rough.
had your Cobalt.
Oh.
All right, but we now welcome Elias to the booth. Welcome, my friend. Congratulations. Great showcase today.
Welcome. It felt good finding Cobalt there with the slight gamble we made with it, but we were trolled by the last Chica key.
Yeah, the keys were not in a great location today.
No, they were not.
No, I think you were missing the Inghive one, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. I think we were about to find it, and then I saw. Yeah.
Yep. It's an aerial training site. Yep.
Oh, that's what ATS means. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. What do we have on notes?
We were like right about to turn into an aerial training site.
Okay, I will. There's one thing I've been meaning to think about the entire time. So, item duplication. I mean, you found your missile launcher on Compound. Great to have it vanilla, especially due to old patcher. But Elias, you and BashPrime did something interesting. When you went to Hive Chamber A, you actually managed to duplicate Dark Missile Trooper to get 2 suits.
Yeah, it didn't end up mattering. But we got light suit like 90 seconds earlier than we would have.
But I mean, no, it was right off Transport A. But that's the first time I've ever seen DMT be duplicated.
No,
how do you do that?
I've heard of that being dupable, and I've actually had it happen before in the older days of Randomania because Dark Missile Trooper would just keep on spawning. I know. Dark Zero explained why, but I forgot what the process is. But yeah, you can dupe Dark Missile Trooper.
Just reload the room and
don't
have bombs.
Oh,
and it'll be like, oh, you never did this because you never did the bomb guardian, even though you did.
So bombs was behind the missile door in storage. What is that in task?
Storage A. Or
right?
no, it's a storage cavern.
Storage cavern B.
So did you all not grab bombs right off the bat then with your route? What was your early game route?
It was a lot of back and forth. I remember. The biggest thing was space jump. We basically last location space jump. And without that, we were just like back and forth. Like we got bombs somewhere. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm bad with room names. We got bombs in one area, and then that made us go back to the other area where we found another progression, and we were going back and forth for a bit until we were kind of just like in the back of labs, and we were just like safe scumming looking for space jump boots.
Yeah, if that second suit wasn't near, especially with Dark Oasis and the gravity on Poison Bog, that dupe suit could have been huge.
Yeah, we were feeling good because like, oh, okay, we can dupe light suit here and we'll be great. And then light suit was like 2 checks later. We're like, okay, well, it didn't matter, but still one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, that space jump was not in a kind location today.
You know what? It was not mining station B. I'm glad for that.
No, you were right next to it though. I mean, let's see. What was that logic chain? You had to get your missiles, so you get your bombs, so that you get your dark beam off a main reactor, but you need spider ball and boost ball, so you had to go to do Spider's treasure at some point, just to get your dark beam to hopefully follow your dark beam logic. Hey, go check mine shaft where your seekers are hiding.
Yeah, and I think Leno was actually talking with me because when we were getting transport access A or whatever the Emerald one is, and got that right off the bat, and Dark Suit was blocked by Emerald, we're like, well, that was interesting. But then once Emerald came in pretty early, Leno's like, oh, Hazing Cliff. It's like, yeah. And luckily that turned into, well, I think it was a boost on Coaling, right? Yeah.
Right. Now, it's been happening a lot lately. Early Spider Ball and Boost Ball lately.
Yeah. I was so worried that once that Boost Ball appeared, like, oh no, Sank Entrance is in play. But the seed just kept like, nope, don't do Sank Entrance. Don't do Sank Entrance. Don't do Sank Entrance. And then it's Casino Mode Chica. Why didn't we do Sank Entrance?
Right.
Yeah. And then and it was really crazy too, because after the old patcher GFMC the vanilla missile launcher route, when we went to Aegon, and then saw Light Beam on the Spider Track, I was like, okay, well, Spider will be soon then. And then it turned into Coaling, and then it turned into was it my mine shaft was Seekers, because we're like, what's next? I mean, we have Emerald and stuff. Now is it going to be Torvis, and then bam, Seekers? Like, oh no. And then Leno was like, oh well, Super's here, but we went and got hints instead. Since I knew the out of bounds for that, so we got that really early. But that almost could have burned us, because Super's being an underground tunnel. That was another call. Like Leno was like, I am super worried if they got that early. So
yeah, we put off Supers we didn't find, or no, not Supers. Actually, Supers was interesting because we were worried about the crash risk, so we played it really safe, and we didn't.
Oh, we were worried about the crash risk too.
Yeah. No, the Seeker missile into Space Jump. That was what threw us.
The seed felt weirdly weirdly linear, but then you got to go all over the place. So like it was a little bit of a mix of everything with this one.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
linear if you trace like every brain wave, like every brain noodle.
Yeah.
Just follow a line, but you're going everywhere following that line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we were feeling really good going into hints, because when was it, like 38 minutes or something? When we went to SDK hints. And we're like, okay, so we might be close to go mode. Not even close.
No, I'm sorry. Not with these key locations, you don't.
Yeah.
Here, you get a Dark Visor, you get an Echo Visor, you get an Annihilator, you have a backpack, you get everything.
Well, on the bright side, at least with that Dark Visor, you had information from Path of Roots.
Yeah. Well, I was like, please, like, no main gyro again, because I've gotten main gyro like every seed this tournament, and then lo and behold, main gyro. Like, please, anything but main gyro, please.
I'm sorry this happened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, if Reggie is still in chat, do you have anything you'd like to say to him for creating such a wonderful time?
I'm sure he's already
I've,
said it.
I've seen worse. You know what, Reggie? There's nothing you can do. I've seen worse. Where's Reed? Reed, you're responsible for this.
Well, I mean, I don't think Reed. Well, I mean, Reed is currently online. I could probably get him in here for a few moments. No, I won't do that to him. It's too late.
No, I mean, this seed had 7 bosses required. It didn't have every boss required, but it had 7 bosses logically required. This was an interesting seed.
Well, on the bright side, you didn't have a red key on Quadraxis or anything.
True.
Yeah, he's the only.
Very, very true.
He's the only one we had to skip and avoid.
Oh, let's see.
But yeah, Grapple Guardian logically required because of where Annihilator was. Powerbomb Guardian required. Spreader Guardian required. Worm Chica. So that's 5. Which one am I forgetting? We were talking about this earlier. I forget what it was now.
Did we say PB Guardian?
Yeah, you had the Dark Oasis for the red key.
Yep.
Yeah, Spider Guardian would have been the real true headache. Going all the way back to Storage Seed, get your Cobalt, then finding your way all the way back to Sanctuary. It's not bad. It's just Labs is a bit of a hard one to route back into sometimes.
So, Elias, did you check any Cobalt hints?
We did because we made a play to Aegon to clean it up, do a Morbus, like get the stuff, and we found Cobalt. We were there, so we were like, "Whoa, this is great." We didn't find the Chica key though, and so we went back to Sanctuary and we're just like, "We're going to scan these Cobalt hints as we go." And we had just scanned one, and we're I guess about to find the Chica key, and then time was called because we were that much behind.
All right.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, even if the routing did hurt a little bit in the early, y'all were still close for a good majority of it.
It did. It was interesting hitting because the Cobalt did give us the hints for the Chica keys finally, and I think Bash was able to like big brain narrow that down to like, oh well, it can be in like these few checks we haven't done yet, so let's like hurry and go get it. So we were like, I think literally 1 check away from go mode.
Because you guys have Annihilator, Echo. Yeah. Yep.
Unfortunately, we had to reset away our Sonic Boom. No full track.
Oh.
No Sonic Boom. Well, we got to do the race over.
Not validated.
Never saw
sorry,
the ETM.
everyone.
Yeah, didn't see that either.
Yeah, we
No,
didn't
there
see
was-
that or the Cannonball.
Well, Cannonball, no.
Yeah,
There was something on Torvis Plaza though. Was that not an ETM or was that an E-Tank?
Corvus Plaza was E-Tank.
That
Yeah,
was
it
an
was
E-Tank.
E-Tank,
Oh, okay.
Yep.
One of these days, I will get a shiny ETM. I want to see it.
Give it time. Give it time. You never know.
What color is the shiny ETM?
I think it's the same, but it gives you a special text, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you have to actually collect it. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. That could be a little bit of a downside with Echoes. It's a great game, but when you have so much equipment given to you in a handbasket, yeah, Dark Beam, Light Beam, your Seekers, everything was just so back to back to back. It can be a little difficult to try to figure out where the game's trying to push you towards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could have gone for Sank. You had Spider Ball, Boost Ball, Space Jump, Power Bombs. You had a good amount for a Sanctuary. But on the flip side, you had Emerald Translator from way back when. Mm-hmm. So with that Boost Ball, hey, do you dive into Torvis instead?
And I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up because we technically made a routing mistake. After getting our Space Jump in Storage A, we did not do Sand Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to get the Dark Visor hint, and like, oh crap, that's actually in Sand Canyon. We have to go all the way back to Agon now, just for that one item.
Yeah, I saw that happen. It was interesting. But I mean, you couldn't have known it was there of all places.
Yeah.
It was kind of
Especially-
weird because like the out of logic stuff that we did do paid off with hints along the path that we've, but then like the in logic route would have rewarded us anyways. So it was kind of like the hints bailed on the out of logic, but then was fine. We would have been in a better route grabbing that like right away. But I guess we'd never have known. Because wasn't
Yeah.
the Dark Visor hint like Path of Roots or something?
Path,
If I remember right.
yeah, path.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think it was
path of
Path-
roots.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
2
we're
rooms
like-
away from Darkbeam.
And then we're like, because then Torvis Energy Controller hint was also something good. Or no, it was the key. It was the key for Torvis. So, yeah, it was really interesting. Because like playing for hints out of logic for at least this seed, it still paid off, which is kind of goofy.
All right, I don't have anything else left on this notepad. We've already covered everything I can really readily think of related to this. But I guess with that, I'm going to start rolling down the questions then. So, I'm going to throw this to both runners, Marker's Mask, Elias. You've already given your opinions on how this race went today. Although, granted, you both did a fantastic job. But more on the tournament setting. How do you feel it's been going so far? With the actual tournament itself, your mentors, how much help they've given you. What's been the general feedback that you've both experienced?
At least for me, I have been mentored by a huge amount of people. So it's been really crazy to see everyone's different play styles, everyone's different way of thinking. Here's how I route. Here's how I've always approached it. So it's a lot to take in, but it's been so much like fun info and rewarding to just keep learning and learning and learning. And I feel like that's what's been really growing my thought process for how I should approach echoes, and kind of cherry picking the best out of everyone's world has been pretty interesting. And it's been like this tournament, like for me at least, has really, I felt like, continued to push me each race further and further to try to push myself. So I've been really appreciating it, and thank you, Leno, for wanting to hop in with me today. I learned a ton, just even at the routing, how you were thinking, the vibes. So it was a blast today. Thank you.
Yep. Anytime. I'm here to help everyone learn and grow with this randomizer. It is definitely a fun one. Would recommend anyone sit down and play it.
Similar thoughts for me. Yeah, I haven't worked with as many different mentors, but I've learned a lot from the game, from the mentors I've had. Bash has mentored me today, as well as 2 other races, and I learned something new every single time. So the reason I signed up for the tournament was to get better at the rando, and that has already been fulfilled. So,
All right. Well, I'm happy that both you had extremely positive outlook so far, and it's what am I trying to say here? Each mentor brings their own little special uniqueness to them, whether it's a routing specialty, some sort of trick knowledge. There's a lot to learn, especially with how large Echoes is and how broken it can get. But there's just having a good time in the end is the best thing about it. As long as you're having fun and enjoying it, that's the biggest part of it. And to throw a curveball on that same question, Leno, I'll direct it to you and BashPrime with him hiding in chat. Being mentors in this tournament, the same question. How's your experience been throughout everything?
It's interesting because when you're doing things, you're used to doing things according to how you know how to do them. And you have a new perspective now, like, okay, now you need to do things based on the skill set of the person you're teaching. And if you're trying to say, let's do this, this, and this, and then they're like, oh, wait, I don't know how to do this, you have to come up with a new solution on the fly. And it's really interesting with the 6 different runners I've mentored throughout this course of the tournament so far. It's been a good experience. I've enjoyed it.
All right, well, that's makes me happy to hear. All right, and I guess before we wrap up our program tonight, does anyone have any final words or any final statements they'd like to say today?
Seed was good. Would rando again. 10 out of 10.
Thanks for calming so late.
Yeah, I mean it's only 12:30, and I've got work at 7 a.m. But that's beside the point.
Go to bed.
No, I'll get around to it. I'll get around to it.
I will echo.
You know, I will echo Bash's statement there. Bad space ship location.
Dang, I was going to echo BashPrime's statement there.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I'm BashPrime.
We are all BashPrime in spirit.
For better, for worse.
Well, just be glad we didn't have a BashPrime special with a Mining Plaza STK. But I mean, granted, at this point, that probably wouldn't be the worst thing that happened.
That honestly just would have been, par for the course. So.
Yeah, it would have worked out fine.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so before we close off, I want to say a huge thank you to you, as always, for continuously tracking and keeping everything up to date. With these races getting so hectic at times, so much happening at once, it's good to have a second pair of eyes and ears. So thank you again for the
trackers are the MVPs. Don't ever discount them. They are wonderful, and always glad to have them around.
Absolutely.
Op tracks so much. True MVP of multiple tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Op.
Another round of applause for all the volunteers who make these events possible. From the technicians over at SpeedGaming to the moderators and the hosts here at the Metroid Prime and Randomania communities, and all the members of said communities volunteering their time to make everything come together in the end. So a huge round of applause to everyone out there. But with that being said, Marker's Mask, Elias, thank you for putting on a fantastic show today.
Thank you for putting up with us.
Well, okay. Well, no, you're not a worry at all. I have fun. I had fun. I'm sure the viewers at home had a lot of fun as well. So it was a good time. And we're looking forward to see what you two can do in the bracket stage when they come up in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Leno, BashPrime, continue to be great mentors. Looking forward to what skills you can provide to these mentees. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks.
Well, I'll be back on Friday. I have another race to mentor Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Logan
and Raylan Tankier are going up with and I'm going up against Bello as a mentor. So this is going to be a good one.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. So, close off our program tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here at SpeedGaming. We greatly appreciate your support over the years, and we look forward to continuing to host more and more varied events as the months and years continue. If you'd like to keep track with anyone that you've seen today, either the runners or the mentors themselves, their information has been posted below. You can follow up or myself, or you can just join our community if you'd like to have some fun. It is posted below. Okay, so the bot does work tonight. Well, that's a good sign.
Shout out to the bot.
Right. So if you're interested, SpeedGaming's Discord is found below. The Metroid Prime Discord as well, if you're interested in the Randomania program. And the upcoming tournament schedule. We have 2 races set currently on for this week. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern between Darkstar and Raylan Tankier. And Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern with Storm versus Lucarius. But until that time, remember to stay safe, have a fantastic rest of the day, and we'll see you next mission.
Take care.
Later.
Bye.